I've always been a fan traveler. I've always liked to travel, and let me give you some advice. Travel. It'll change your life. When I was talking to my philosophy professor in college, and I told him that I was trying to understand how to be a good counselor, how to perhaps be a good minister, and what should I do, he gave me some very good advice. He said, read the Bible all the time. Take advice from the Bible and let it be your guidebook. It is God's way of talking to you. And then he said, learn to travel. Where? I said, anywhere. Anywhere you travel, you're wiser. I don't care if it's another city or another state or another country. Travel. And teach your kids the same thing. Your kids need to know to travel. And so that's what I did. I took his advice and went all over the world. And what I became was a fan traveler. I became a Christian fan traveler. I followed the people that I admired, and I went and studied them. I worked for Billy Graham, Oral Roberts. I'll tell you about this later, but Dr. Schaeffer, Francis Schaeffer, who was the greatest mind of 20th century as far as I was concerned. And I went places. I went all over the world. Rome, Paris, Switzerland. I traveled and I followed people, and I followed my passion, whatever my passion might be. I followed those people that I admired, and I experienced what I needed to experience to find myself, which, by the way, I'm still looking for, and trying to understand life as well. And it took me in my main passion, which was helping people. I wanted to help people no matter what. And so that's where I've been, traveling and helping people. That's why we're here. Our attempt is to help you if we can. And maybe that's why you're here, because you need help. And one of the things that I want to point out to you is that God is anxious to help you. God has a great desire to be a part of your life. Now, I'm not asking you to go to church. I'm not asking you to change your lifestyle or be a different person. He loves you just the way you are, and he needs to deal with you, with your problems, and help you, heal you, and guide you. When I get somebody in my office and they sit down with me to tell me their problem, whatever it might be, I become a great listener. And I'm also a great acceptor. In other words, wherever they've been, whatever they've been doing, I need to hear it. I need to hear it honestly. It could be the worst thing in the world, but I need to hear it in order to help you. And then I need to not judge you. I can't judge you because I'm not your judge. I'm simply a helper. I'm simply here to do whatever I can. And most of all, I'm just a minister of the gospel. I've come to know the gospel and understand that Christ is anxious to help us and save us. And he's anxious to help you and save you and me. I'm in as desperate need of him as you are. And so I know that. No matter how many degrees I happen to get, and all degrees do is show me how stupid I really am. But by the same token, the more educated that I become, the more I understand we can't do it without God and Christ. And that's one of your problems. You're probably trying too hard to do it without his help. One of the places I went that made a lasting impact on my life was the Dominican Republic. Now, in case you don't know it, in this third world country, there are a lot of Americans that go there and retire because life is so different and so cheap in that little continent. And I accepted a position to travel the world and troubleshoot. And my office could be there in the Dominican Republic. These Christian organizations had come together because the continent is so cheap, and I was connected with these Christian organizations where I could go and help them according to whatever kind of help they needed. And I was put all over the world. You and I need to be helpers. We need to do what we can to solve the problems that somebody else has. Our kids. We need to train our children. We need to guide them. We need to love them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. You need to tell your kids what is right and what is wrong. You need to show them. And you don't need to jam it down their throat. You need to explain to them why you feel the way you do and let that make an impact. For the most part, these kids are yours, come from you. They are a part of you, and therefore they feel the way you do. They've got the same kind of DNA. They understand what you're saying, and they feel it more than you realize. Now, the most rebellious will listen to what you have to say. They may not like it, and they may give you a hard time because you usually yield to them or something like that. But if you stick to your guns and explain how you feel and what you want and why you feel the way you do and why you think what's happening is happening, they will listen. While they're driving down the road, God forbid they get a car, I know, but while they're driving down the road, or while they're thinking things over by themselves, no matter what age they are, hopefully when they're real young, they're not driving down the road. But when they're thinking over what you said, they let what you said fall into them and think about it. You know, there's belief and there's knowledge. Belief is thinking how it might be and being settled on it, committed. For example, we live near the ocean here, and I believe I could swim in the ocean, but I don't know I can swim until I get in the water. So there's a difference between belief and knowledge. Knowing is when I do it. I can love somebody and believe I love them, but until I actually do love them, I don't know it. And the question is, what do you know? How do you feel? What do you believe and why? So anyway, what I did was I traveled all over the world, and it was good for me. But I was in the Dominican Republic for a long time, and I owned 2 horses and a motorcycle, and had a great time. If you're a fan of John Wayne, you need to own a horse at least for 6 months. But the experience of preaching the gospel and traveling the world is important to anybody. You should learn what life is like. Now, let me tell you, I brought one of the Dominicans to the United States for a visit. Not long, a couple weeks, I think. And when he arrived at the airport, we got in the car and headed from Miami, I think it was up to Jacksonville. And I said to him on the way, we need to stop at a grocery store and get some more food for the house, so we've got enough for everybody. And I did. I stopped at a Publix, a grocery store, and he went with me in the Publix. And then as we started to walk, he suddenly groaned very loudly and very inappropriately. And I said to him, what's the matter with you? And he started to cry. And there were real tears coming out of his eyes. I said to him, what's the matter with you? He said he had never seen a grocery store this size in his entire life. And he was overwhelmed by it. And he was so grateful that he could come to the United States and see it. Now that's the point of travel. When you go to the Dominican Republic, you find that there are some planks put against a roof with maybe 2 rooms that a family, a very poor family, has put together. And when I first saw it, I said, what is this? And the man of the house said to me, this is our house. I said, did you build this yourself? He said, yes. We put the planks together, put the nails on it. This is where we live. That's all they could afford. The economics is different in the DR. In fact, in the DR, if I'm not mistaken, $200 is an annual salary, yearly. They don't have a lot of money, which means that if you go to a restaurant for $3, if it's still like that, probably changed since I've been there because I was there years ago. Steak dinner was a full course steak dinner was $3. But when you learn this as you travel, you get to understand people and things, and then how to develop your own life and figure out what problems you are supposed to be solving. And that's what you want to do. And that's what I want to help you do. Solve your problems. Figure out what problems you've got or a family has that you are supposed to solve. That's why I'm here, to help you understand yourself. So look into what we've put together here, see if it works for you, helps, and contact me. Let me know how I can help you.